ExNoRa Nirmal effect. I'm happy to present the revelations. I call it premonitions, seeing beyond. This is important premonition, seeing beyond on Sri Lanka. The whole world believed that a particular ethnic minority is being wiped out in Sri Lanka, Tamils. But it's not the truth. The truth is the cleansing of that of religious minorities. That's what I'm going to present it, and don't jump to conclusion. See it fully, then you'll understand, appreciate. Even now, this big attack is going on against Muslims in Sri Lanka. All of you know it. Nirmal Basu, blessed to transform the world, saving the people and the fragile planet, our only home. Created to see beyond. He saw beyond, he's seeing beyond. Say GPN, Seven Sense Master. Seeing beyond is an ability that all humans, except those with mental illness and alcoholism, can easily acquire by learning the seventh sense. So, ExNoRa Basu 78 plus is blessed to find solution to every problem, from mosquitoes to climate change, that is bothering and affecting individuals, families, societies, nations, Mother Nature, and the planet, our only home. When one presents him with a problem needing an answer, he can give a creative solution almost instantly, or within a day, using the God-gifted scientific brain power. A tsunami of breakthrough ideas are released as videos and web links to save the planet, our only home, and rescue people from slavery, poverty, hunger, human trafficking. From 1st May 2022 to 2nd October 2022, the earth, our only home, and people, despite their diversities, will live safely. Follow Twitter at MB Nirmal. Nothing is more powerful than idea whose time has come. Victory was said. So, the inability of most people is that they can't see beyond, and our view is restricted. Most of the people treat the symptoms, not the disease. Most of the people think, talk, do based on the consequences, never the causes. The inability of most of the people is that they cannot see beyond. Therefore, they always treat the symptoms, not the disease. They think, talk, and do based on the consequences, never the causes. By the grace of the Almighty, developed seven senses 4 decades ago and learned the ability to see beyond. So, I'm going to share the secrets. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Okay. Now, the topic which I've been talking is that you are talking about the consequence. Consequence is that so many Tamils are killed. Okay, but you must know the cause. If you know the cause, you will not say Tamils were killed, because what is in the mind of the killers? That's more important. It's called also in law as mensriya, mental element. The mental element of the killers, the Rajapaksa brothers, was not wiping out Tamils, but cleansing of religious minorities. So there are so many proof for this, and in fact, Time magazine, BBC all confirmed this. And they wanted to be a virgin, pure, singless Buddha nation. So they didn't spare even singular Christians. They were also killed. So you're going to see that. So the moment I discovered this, I had a big gathering. You can see that Genesis Sri Lanka book is being handed over to Mr. Vikraman, who was then the Dr. Vikraman, who was then the president of the Tamil Nadu Cine Directors Association. Along with him, you see Mr. Amir, who was the president of the FEPSI. Indra Rajan, ExNoRa Tirunamale president, is handing over. Prabhu Salaman is there, and I am also there. The next is our Indra Kumar, one of the best environmentalists of our nation, is presenting the book to Mr. Amir. R.K. Selvam is there, Prabhu Salaman, and myself there. Govindraj. You can see it behind. Then it's a turn of Basu to hand it over to R.K. Selvam, who was a general secretary at the time of Directors Association. Now he is president of Directors Association as well as the president of the FEPSI. You can see other directors, Govindraj there. Then R. Govindraj is presenting it to Prabhu Salaman. Prabhu Salaman. And, the coincidence here that you see in the dais Hindu, Muslim, Christian directors. So we need all these people, though they are not religious or they are not religious fanatics, but I call them. They came and they're going to hear one minute what they said about the discovery. Actually, this discovery was accepted by U.S. Congress. The president is all about it. At the same time, it was accepted by whom? Rajapaksa brothers. They got scared. I'll tell you about it. But that's why I want to say that our vision is limited. We must see beyond. And here, Apchi Apau of Teachers ExNoRa presenting it to through Kalaikudam, Sekhar, Dr. Sekhar. Can see Dr. Shanmuganathan there. So all of them are holding the book, Genesis in Sri Lanka, with R.K. Venkadatri, who hosted this in his RKV studios. So you can see all the directors spoke. The videos are all going to watch now. So bloody attack on Hinduism and Hindus. Actually, Hindu temples were destroyed. You are going to see that. And the people are holding a banner, stop killing innocent Tamil Hindu kids, civilians in Sri Lanka. Then bloody attack on Islam and Muslims. You can see the Muslims holding the banner. There are hundreds of banners. I've shown only a few. The Sri Lankan government enemy of Islam and Muslims. Bloody attack on Christians and Christianity. Here, on 30th 2014 January, Singlish Christian hold a massive protest against Sri Lankan government for killing Christians because they are not Buddhists. So the point is very clear. They wanted to be all people belong to Buddhism and all of them must be speaking Singhala. Others have no place. Now the point is, particularly in Tamil Nadu, I was very kind of not happy because they kept on talking Tamil circle. They don't help the Sri Lankan Tamils, but it's a fact that majority, almost 98% people killed were Tamils. But believe it or not, the Muslims killed also include Muslims came from Arab, Muslims came from Pakistan, Malaysia and Tamil Nadu. The percentage may be lesser, but Tamil Muslims may be more. Same thing with Christianity. They killed also singular Christians. Now if you keep on telling Tamil, you may get 1% of the world population support. But if you tell the truth, what was in the mind of Rajapaksa brothers, the world highest populations are the Christians, 32%, 20% Muslims, 15% Hindus. Totally 72% of the world population support. The fourth biggest religion is Buddhism. Buddhism is a great religion. Only, some section, Theravada, some countries, they resort to violence. Buddhism violence. According to me, they are not Buddhist. So I can tell you that even about 7% of Buddhists also will support us. That means 80% of the world population support. So the balance is tilting this side. When you take a stand that is religious minorities cleansing, it's a fact. Okay, you please stay with me. So I made number of videos. Sri Lanka, the world's biggest world record genocide industry. So religious minorities cleansing. You can see the religious symbols. And so many videos have been made. This is seeing this. So what you call the sacrilege, desecration have been happening of all religions. So whatever you thought is wrong, but generally you see Buddhism is there so many countries. Bhutan, there's so peace-loving Japanese monks, Korean monks, most of it Cambodia monks. But the problem with Buddhists have two countries, Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka, they have a very militant Buddhist monks called Bodhu Balasena. They engineered attack on Hindu, Muslim and Christians. Not only that, they exported the idea to Myanmar. Otherwise, Myanmar didn't have this problem because both Myanmar and Sri Lanka, they are the same denomination of Buddhism called Theravada. So bloody attack on Muslims, cleansing of Islam, chemical bombs on Hindu and Christians they killed. Then I also made a video in 2014 sent to the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Honorable CM late Jayalalitha ji. The point was, I made a video. This videos there are two things pointing out. One is the number of temples. All of you know Kumbakonam has got highest number of temples, about nearly 190 or more. Second is Jaffna, 150 plus temples. and most of them were demolished by Rajapaksa brothers. We have a Lord Ganesh temple beneath a tree, but this all replaced by Buddha tree. Kadirkaman temple was taken away by Buddhists. All this happened, and they also made very bad attack against the Prime Minister and the then CM. So I made a video to them. It's a kind of wake-up call I gave them. And Rajapaksa was really scared of my finding out. At the time only Narendra Modi became Prime Minister. They thought that if I take it to Narendra Modi, it will become a serious issue. But I tried my best to take it to Mr. Modi. The DVD and all, I went and had over the BJP office here in T Nagar office. But they were all lying even after so many days. I saw that. It didn't reach, I don't think it reached him. But second fact, which Rajapaksa was shocked, was the best Hindus in the world are the Sri Lankan Hindus. These Hindus went world over, they made the Hindu religion a global religion. And they construct temples in all the countries. Wherever they go, first thing they do is start a Tamil Sangam and then they construct a temple. And there's a big difference in following Hinduism by the Tamil Nadu Hindus and Sri Lankan Hindus. Tamil Nadu Hindus are very progressive because this is a soil where Thandai Periyar was born. And many concoctions and superstitions Tamil Nadu Hindus don't believe. But Singlish Hindus, Hindus follow, copybook, copy Hinduism, whatever they say, Sanatanadam and all, they accept it. And they don't violate any Hindu fundamental rules. They have Brahmin priests. The Stabadi and all taken from Tamil Nadu, and the temples are constructed. And these Gurukul, temple priests, Bhattacharya and all taken from India and Sri Lanka. They all been given quarters. And the more important thing about Sri Lankan Hindus, in India, the Hinduism we follow is exclusive and negative Hinduism. The Sri Lankan Hindus follow positive and inclusive Hinduism. What I mean inclusive, they have the temple car run in main streets of Germany, Sweden, Denmark, many countries you can see. And more important is, they call the president of the nation. Obviously, these presidents must be are Christians. They will come and inaugurate it. And you can see Trudeau of Canada, Boris Johnson of UK, France, all leaders, national leaders, they're very happy to participate in Hindu festivals. Actually, unfortunately, a few journalists in Tamil Nadu, they gave a wrong picture. They portrayed, they gave a wrong picture. They were being asked by Rajapaksa to give a picture that all the Sri Lankan Tamils are extremists. It's not truth. And there are very reputed newspapers like Hindu who have been reporting the correct information. But there are some other papers who indulged. They became virtually agents of Rajapaksa. You will see it in another who are the Rajapaksa agents. So these are the videos. So Director Vikraman, now you will see 1 minute what he says. RK Selumani, you'll see 1 minute. Dr. Amir, 1 minute. Dr. Prabhu Salaman, 1 minute. Dr. T.K. Shanmu Sundaram, 1 minute. Dr. Sekhar, Thulur Kalaikuram, 1 minute. Okay, now having addressed this meeting of our directors where I wrote, I didn't purposely tell local media for several reasons. I want this focus should be there, it's religious cleansing. I'm a Tamil, I love Tamilians, naturally. I love Tamil, but I love Tamilians more. I have to safeguard them. So as having known them, I say seeing beyond. So when I wrote to the US, I sent letters and DVD and all to Prime Minister office. No response. But US Congress, they were shocked because I told how many churches were demolished and all. They called me. So this is official proceedings. This came from US Congress, which I'm releasing you first time. Okay, Congress of the United States, they say that Washington, the state of ethnic and religious freedom in Sri Lanka, Wednesday, July 9, 2014. Just because I'll see this. So this is a letter actually. I'm not reading one at a time. What you can do is that Representative Bill Johnson, Representative Danny K.V. Davis, they took the lead in the U.S. government. Okay, here the letter continues. Guest speaker, Nirmal, founder, chairman, ExNoRa International Chennai. Susan Everett, senior program officer, religion, peacemaking center, Washington, D.C. Ryan Goodman, co-editor, chief, Just Security, New York. So this is a message sent by Danny Davis and Bill Johnson, members of Congress. Okay, and then we are addressing here one of the congressmen sitting, and the Ryan Goodman is sitting right to me. I'm now addressing. You can see the representative is talking, and Goodman's talk, my talk. So this happened, and so Congress welcomes Danny Davis, member of Congress, guest speaker MB Nirmal, ExNoRa for Chennai, guest speaker Professor Ryan Goodman, co-editor-in-chief, Just Security, New York. Topic: the government of USA, two senior foreign policy advisors, senior policy US advisor Colombo, legislative fellow South and Central Asia, vice president government relations, members of US TPAC. So these people were all invited to the meeting. So Danny, he was really shell-shocked, and he told that his whole family, his uncle, many people are all religious service. They sacrifice their life for Christianity. And then they give an introduction about both of us. And I'm not now telling what they told. I'll tell about Ryan Goodman, was previously Pete Hauser, professor of human rights and humanitarian law, director of human rights program at Harvard Law School. Goodman has published articles in leading law reviews and also co-authored several books, two of which include Socializing States, Promoting Human Rights Through International Law with Derek Jinks, the International Human Rights with Philip Alston. His work makes significant contribution to the evolution of human rights treaties, to the law of armed conflicts, and to international law more generally. Is currently at the New York University School of Law. Such an eminent person. So my point is, there's interest about me. I'm not reading it. You can pass and see that. So Emil speaks on the topic in Sri Lanka. It is religious minorities, cleansing of Christianity into Islam. It's a religious minorities, persecution of Christians into the Muslims. Okay. And these two topics were spoken by me. And the guest speaker, he said about his speech, which I'm going to Professor New York University, part of the audience, another part of the audience. The proceedings of Congressional Caucus of Ethnic Freedom, Sri Lanka, the date is repeated. Okay. Dr. Nirmal said, we have failed to understand the mensria, or mental illness of Sri Lankan leaders. The intent for Sri Lanka to be solely a singular Buddhist country. Dr. Nirmal provided statistics on the number of massacres of Christians in Sri Lanka, stating 370 churches have been demolished, 3,000 Christian statues and altars have been destroyed. He said that same types of atrocities committed in Hindus and Muslims. Dr. Nirmal discussed the killings of aid workers, journalists, and social activists. Dr. Nirmal said he believed the meeting in Congress will well attained by government staffers would be a turning point for those suffering in the island. His talk was supported by a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to state to my PowerPoint presentation. Religious cleansing, deliberate removal of target religious community from a given territory, religious persecution in which members of the religious population subject to imprisonment, expulsion, or death by the majority to achieve religious homogeneity in majority controlled territory. So here religious cleansing is subject of Hindus, Muslims, and Christians. It's a fact. You can go and check Google. You'll see they are very clear. Only people in Tamil Nadu, India, they were not clear. Okay, Time magazine on 1st July 2013 they said, face of Buddhist terror is famed for its pacifism and tolerance, but in several Asia's Buddhist majority nations, monks are inciting bigotry and violence. So they made a cover story, and the movement made Sri Lanka ban the issue of Time magazine. The Buddhist monks, you can see, they're holding a protest. 25th March 2000, BBC said that it has become clear that BBS top level, so it is the monks who protect our country, religion, and race, said in a speech, no one should doubt that this clergy, we are here to give you encouragement. And Gotabaya gave them blessings to go ahead, the onslaught. Most of the Sundays, the Buddhist monks under the leadership of BBS Secretary Janasera go and attack church and the Christians offering prayer, attack a mosque offering prayer. For change, they attack also mosque, minimum 1 hour per month. They are busy in replacing Hindu idols with that of Lord Buddha. So I am talking about my PowerPoint presentation. This banner displayed by Sri Lankan Muslims in London explains everything. Attention President Rajapakse, we need justice for brutally attacked mosques, churches, temples by Buddha Bals. So it's not that Nirmal alone found something. This has been told by Muslims, Christians, and everybody. So this is a time now Rajapakse's brothers are in trouble. They should have been brought before the International Court of Justice, but they were having support of even India. So now it's for all the Hindu, Muslim, Christians of India to unite, and we should fight not only the protection of Hindu, Muslim, Christian in India, but also in all other neighboring nations, particularly Sri Lanka and Myanmar. So chemical cluster bombing, killing of Tamil, Hindu, Muslim, and Christians. So this one, UN finds cluster bombs in Sri Lanka. I'm not reading that, everything you can pass and see that. Sri Lanka army used cluster phosphorus bomb on civilians where Hindus and Christians lived and who were victims. There are thousands of gory pictures of cold-blooded murders, massacres, genocides, which are not shown here. You can Google and see if you wish. Buddha Balasana classified as a terrorist group by TRAC, US-based Terrorism Research Analysis Consortium. Classified Sri Lanka Buddha Bala religious and cult terrorist group. Okay, actually they rule Sri Lanka. In its report, BBC, TRC states that BBS engages in hate speech attacks against minority religions. Okay, it has organized various campaigns against the country's minority, Christian and Muslim communities. So this claim is supported by the leading newspapers and leading what you call Terrorism Research Analysis Consortium, global organization. In the TRC reports in terms of the BBS ideology, it has classified it as a religious, all and cult terrorist groups. And in terms of tactics, it claims the BBS uses armed assault. So what is BBS? Buddhu Balasana. That means, so I think now you get the point. Single Christian protesting religious cleansing of Christians. Christian schools were reduced to rebels. Christian students were massacred while they were going to school bus or where the school premises. Killing of thousands of Christians, including kids, harassment and killing of Christians after the war. Christians were gang raped. Christian families were wiped out. Christian priests and nuns were killed. When you see the individual precision attack against Christians, Muslims, Hindus in Tamil, there are a number of videos. You'll know what kind of attack. Even churches were attacked. Single Christians, single Christian churches were attacked. 370 churches since 73 to 2011 were bombed and demolished. There are more than 3,000 sacrileges and desecrations of Christian divine statues, Lord Jesus, Mother Mary, blessed sacraments, and tabernacles, including the altars. House is banned. And what happened was that Gotabaya Rajapakse brought a draconian law. The first law was that no more churches, no more mosques, or no more temples to be constructed on the Buddhist sacred soil. And seeing this order, the Christians and Muslims, they didn't have any other option except to have a house church and house mosque. What is house church and house mosque means? They will have the reception hall of their house converted as a church or mosque, and that's where the service will be rendered. But this was this Irkiti Buddha Balasana terrorist organization. They went and attacked house church and mosque, and many were killed. So these all videos are there. You can see that. I told you, single Christians get killed, single churches are vandalized. Though ethnicity is same, for the same reason, the religious is different. Roman Catholic Church school children brutally killed by Sri Lankan army attack. There are 3 or 4 like that. One I'm showing here. Church staff, children, teacher, all Christians brutally killed by Sri Lankan army traveling to a school. So they are church staff children, and their names are all there. You can see that. 219 last 10 years, 79 to 11 churches destroyed. Colombo Singular Church 2004 damaged by Sri Lankan army. PTK Church destroyed by Sri Lankan army. So here there are number of places. You can see the ruins, churches and ruins. This is all done by Rajapaksa brothers. From the year 2000, day and out, Singlish churches are invaded, attacked, and church properties damaged by pseudo-Buddhists. Sri Lanka. Please see the list of two churches. Another, we given the entire list of the churches, how they attacked. So it's all the sacrileges done from 2012. And here, Christian priests done to death by Sri Lankan government for a cleansing. Father M.K. Marudaratnam, Father Mary Bastian, Father Mariam Pillai, Father Francis Joseph, Singlish, Father Priest of Philip Neri Church, Sri Lanka, Father Pakya Ranjanath. They were all killed by Sri Lankan army. So this one very important, Albert Malcolm Ranjit. This person, Archbishop of Colombo, Sri Lankan Cardinal of the Catholic Church. So he is a Singlish. He says in a statement, the Bishop Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit condemned the attack, said it is sacrilege for anyone to enter such sacred precincts with arms in their hands and indulge in violence, said such actions cannot be attempted by anyone. It's always necessary that we preserve the sanctity and sacred premises of any religion. A group of Buddhists devastated the Catholic Church, Saint Francis Xavier Anguluna, the Archdiocese of Colombo in Sri Lanka. The vandals smashed 143-year-old statue of Mary. The perpetrators tore the tabernacle, the blessed sacrament from the altar, broke it up and set on fire. So this was told by Singlish bishop. That's what you see here. And so you must understand, he started Tamil, okay? And they were attacked. And yesterday, when actually we prepared a report yesterday, age of 2001, Sri Lanka Buddha birth leader, when Jnani Satyara said Pope Francis should apologize to Sri Lankan Buddhists for the alleged atrocities committed by Christian colonialists. The Pope is expected to visit to Sri Lanka in January. So again, even Pope was not spared. Stop killing innocent Tamil Hindu kids, civilians in Sri Lanka. So this is very clear. So his motive is to wipe out religion. Why in the people of Tamil Nadu say Tamils kill Tamil? If you really love the Tamils there, you should say killed were Hindu, Muslim, Christians. That was the motive of Rajapaksa brothers. In Sri Lanka, Hindu schools were reduced to rubbles and debris. Hindu schools were massacred, killing of Hindus nearly 120,000. The latest information, including kids, 90% of them were massacred after the war. In the Hindus, minorities cleansing up, Hindu women were gang raped, Hindu families were wiped out, Hindu Brahmin priests and the family members were killed. You can see that how a priest was killed, his two sons went to rescue, were also killed. 1,723 Hindu temples are demolished. Hindu most sacred Kadirgaman temple was taken over by Buddhists. There were a lack of sacrileges and desecration of Hindu divine gods temples. Hindu temples are converted Buddhist temples. Nearly 300 Lord Ganesh idols and the ficus tree were replaced by Buddha idols. I am reading it fast because it's all prepared. It's actually 8 years now. So here see a temple priest crying, seeing the Amman temple. So this is all the, what you call, how the sacrileges done by Sri Lankan government, army and Buddha Balasena. 1,723 temples. Religious marriage cleansed by Sri Lanka, opposed by Muslims. Now we go to the Muslims part. Muslims are killed, the genocide relationship with Myanmar against Christians and Muslims. The more important aspect, the enmity against Muslims by the Singlish government is more than 100 years old. And there's a case against Tamil Muslims, the Privy Council. How the enmity, the divide and rule was done. A Tamil Hindu advocate argued for the Singlish government. He won the case. That's where the enmity between Tamil Muslim, Tamil Hindus came. Actually, the divide and rule was done by long ago by Singlish. 33 mosques were vandalized, 4 ancient shrines were reduced to rubble. Muslims during prayers attacked. Graffiti on mosques while showing pigs as halal. Massive campaigns against halal. Mocking and banning parda, burqa, abaya. Calling parda, burqa, clad Muslim women. Goni billah, that means carry person a sack. Asking Muslims protested against demolition of mosques and prevention of terrorist act, PTA. So the PTA now has been taken, and all you can see the MPs who argue. They also non-Tamil Muslim MPs are arguing. There are, if you go on Google, you can see how in the highest house they speak. Muslim woman writer. There are several sacrileges of desecrations of Muslim divine flags and Holy Quran. Permission for construction of new mosques are not given. So this is against Muslims. So this was published world over. I want to tell you that the Gulf Times has published, and even Dargah, famous as Nagur Dargah was demolished. It's older than Nagur Dargah. Guest speaker. So this is all my speech, but there are 26 video. I condensed my just to 10 minutes. Guest speaker Professor Ryan Godman, co-editor-in-chief, Just Security, New York, and professor of law at New York University School Law. He talks important points recorded in the proceedings. So astonishing level of impunity. Professor Godman spoke about how to address the deplored war crimes committed by both sides in Sri Lanka. The astonishing level of impunity there. He said Sri Lanka LLRC was deeply flawed and had surprisingly forward-looking recommendations regarding need for criminal persecutions. Professor Goodman said the best word to describe account of Sri Lanka today was stagnation. He said, retrospectively, there has been no meaningful form of accountability of the governments to over 40,000 deaths in 2009. So Goodman cited the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights report in 2013 with no credible investigation into these deaths. So UN High Commissioner also given a report about the big breach of human rights. He also cited the US State Department Human Rights report. He said Sri Lanka is yet to hold a single person accountable. So, so many people are killed. At least one person will be accounted for, but they will not do it because this was done on behalf of Rajapaksa brothers. 5 years after 2009, he said there is no real hope of accountability in Sri Lanka. 5 years after 2009, Professor Goodman said there is no real hope of accountability in Sri Lanka. Domestic affairs are futile. That this prompted U.S. government to lead a resolution Human Rights Council for international war crimes to be conducted. In fact, you will be surprised to know U.S. government did that. Indian government, both Congress and BJP, they said will remain neutral. Sri Lanka culture of impunity breeds and begets further impunity. Goodman noted that Sri Lanka's culture of impunity breeds, begets further impunity because there has been no accountability for past crimes. He understands that there is impunity for ongoing crimes today. He said that because past crimes were not, no action was taken. They continue their atrocities against the minorities, Hindu, Muslim, and Christians. So Goodman also noted UNHC Navi Pillai noted that Sri Lanka was headed in an increasingly authoritarian direction. He also noted that the State Department's report discussed widespread impunity in Sri Lanka multiple times throughout its report. The involuntary disappearance, torture by police and military, and attacks on media and the judiciary, these crimes are linked to the highest levels of Sri Lankan government. The State Department report also discussed involuntary disappearance, torture by police and military, attacks on media and judiciary. Crimes are linked to the highest levels of Sri Lanka government. US should support the investigation naming specific individuals responsible for crimes in Sri Lanka. Professor Goodman said US should further promote accountability efforts at UN, not just supporting the investigation, sharing information tasks with the investigation, but also supporting the investigation in naming individuals responsible for the crimes in Sri Lanka. US should institute travel restrictions against key Sri Lankan officials. He further said you should institute travel restrictions key Sri Lankan officials. He called for greater sanctions in Sri Lanka. He also called for greater sanctions in Sri Lanka and suggested the Congress invite the UN panel to brief Congress finalize the report in April 2015. Professor Goodman also discussed a specific and exceptional opportunity for the United States to prosecute Gotabaya Rajapaksa since he is a US citizen. So Goodman said he is liable under the US War Crimes Act 1996. See, as a US citizen, though the crime was committed in Sri Lanka, he can be prosecuted by US government. That's what Goodman brought out a beautiful aspect. As the members of Congress will send letters to human rights special prosecution sections, the Department of Justice expressed their hope that the Director of Justice will pursue all legal for violation of US federal law in Sri Lanka. He specifically discussed the white flag incident in which Gotabaya Rajapaksa reportedly ordered the execution of sundering LTT components and civilians. And the public statement of Gotabaya Rajapaksa is saying hospitals were legitimate targets. See, the white flag incident where the people in good faith they came, even civilians, they're all, but Gotabaya asked them to be all killed. And the hospitals, even they were receiving treatment, the hospitals were also targeted. More important, the bridges through which they can reach the hospitals were all demolished. Department of Justice could pursue civil liability against Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Professor Goodman said, if the higher burden of proof for a criminal persecution could not be met, the Department of Justice could pursue civil liability. The Director of Justice could prosecute Gotabaya Rajapaksa under RICO, Statutes for Organized Crime. crimes in Sri Lanka satisfy the uh, predicate offences for racketeering, including torture of US citizens, tampering with a witness moment. So even US citizens are not excluded from attack. So Goodman discussed reports that Gotabaya Rajapaksa threatened Sarath Fonseca in an interview in the BBC, claiming that Fonseca said Gotabaya gave the order to execute surrendering LTT members. So these are the, an American coming and addressing US Congress. Gotabaya reportedly said if Fonseca said that the citizen will hang him. That's what Gotabaya. So Gotabaya, I feel that one of the worst criminals. And of course, he has his own agents in India, in Chennai. We'll see in another video who are the agents. We'll give the proof, the agents of Rajapaksa. Gotabaya can be tried for immigration fraud. Professor Goodman also discussed possible pursuing Gotabaya for immigrating fraud. The action, the crimes must be committed before citizenship is acquired. So, Professor Goodman discussed the mass graves found in Batalya district from when Gotabaya was commander of the region and suggested could be used to prove Gotabaya falsified statements on his citizenship application. So, Gotabaya is really in trouble, and as a US citizen, he can be tried in the US, and he is given false records to US government. So Goodman also stated the immunity would not attach to Gotabaya, especially because he is a US citizen. He said one cannot argue that this is the US imposing its laws on other countries, because actually opposite here. The US has an interest in having its laws applied to its citizens, and other countries should not interfere with it. I think it's beautiful. I repeat it. So Professor Goodman also stated the immunity would not attach to Gotabaya, especially because he's a US citizen. He said one cannot argue that this the US imposing its laws on other countries, because it is actually the opposite here. The US has interest in having its laws applied to its citizens, and other countries should not interfere with that. What can Goodman said it was symbolically important for the US to indict Gotabaya. He said it should make him more marginalized and therefore less an impediment to accountability. He said currently a domestic mission in Sri Lanka is unrealistic. The US has played a key role in advancing accountability, but has not taken the next important step for prosecuting Gotabaya. He posed a question: what can Azad say if US lets its own citizens be involved in the killings of thousands of civilians? So this is very important. These are beautiful questions. The caucus co-chaired by Representative Danny Davis, and one from Democrat, another from Billy Johnson, Republican. Both of them were there. Congressman Johnson said the caucus was treated to educate us about the need to protect human rights for all ethnicities who have been excluded from society, political life, and economy of Sri Lanka. He said holding this event was especially timely given recent escalation of violence in Sri Lanka, referring last month's attacks against Muslims. He said violence comes after demolition and burning of churches and temples in the past. Congressman Johnson said Sri Lanka is a majority Buddhist country, and that while Article 10 of the Constitution grants freedom of thought, Article 9 of the Constitution grants foremost place to Buddhism and places a duty on the Sri Lankan government to protect Buddhism. Congressman Davis spoke about how unfortunate it was to see some groups denying other groups the basic freedoms that they enjoy in Sri Lanka. He called upon the Sri Lankan government to end anti-Muslim riots and attacks. He also called upon the Sri Lankan government to put in place urgent protective measures to ensure the security of minorities in Sri Lanka. Congressman Davis said the groups of certain religions or ethnicities should not be targeted by government factions as terrorists just to circumvent the violence occurring in Sri Lanka. So USCRF recommendation 2014. USCRF, United States Commission for International Religious Freedom, recommends the US government should press the government to allow for a transparent, independent investigation to the 2009 war crimes as it relates to targeted attacks on religious minorities, urge government officials to frequently and publicly denounce religiously motivated harassment and violence. The Sri Lankan government has too many skeletons in the cupboard, like apart from ethnic cleansing of Tamils, religious minorities, especially of Christians, Hindus, and Muslims, more now, killing of media persons, the highest in the world. There is no press freedom at all now, murdering of human rights activists, executing foreign aid workers, bringing restrictions on the free functioning of NGOs, eliminating political opponents, singular Buddhists. Mahinda Rajapaksa is not cooperating with UNHRC team. His investigation is very critical of the US government and British Prime Minister. It's not just the Kasa Tamils alone, but all the religious minorities. The religious minorities of Sri Lanka who are major religions in the world, Christians, Muslims, and Hindus. Hence, global pressure should be brought on him together with the people of these religions living in a different nation. There should be new resolution passed for UNHRC to also investigate the religious persecution. So, this is all the report. Now, I want to say, I was given the opportunity, all the records, the resolution passed against action against Rajapakse. But unfortunately, we needed support from the central government, Tamil Nadu state government. Now there's a change of guards in Tamil Nadu state government. I request Honorable CM through Mukha Stalin to quote his report and arrange a urgent meeting of all the legal exponents, human rights activists, plus the leaders of Hindu, Muslim, Christians in Tamil Nadu. And we should bring global pressure. That's what we should do. So presented by MB Nirmal, founder ExNoRa, mbnirmal@gmail.com. So I want to thank you and all. Stay in touch and best wishes.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go and click the bell icon to get regular updates from our channel. In case you have missed any videos, please visit the channel page by clicking the channel icon.